Hi, Jim Bunch, founder of The Ultimate Game of Life, and I'm excited to share with you a tip that can save you so much stress and frustration, it'll blow your mind, literally. Here's what I'm talking about. I got a phone call from a friend of mine who happens to be a leader in a major organization. As a matter of fact, he has about 20,000 people that he oversees. And he calls me up and he says, Jim, I got to tell you, I need to take a couple of days to just get all of my thoughts clear, to back away from all the projects I have happening, not just in my business, but in my personal life. And I said, hey, listen, you can do that. You can take a couple of days, go away, you can, think about all the things you got to do, or I can show you a process that literally takes less than 10 minutes and it'll get you back on track. And he said, dude, if you could help me with that, that would be amazing, because I'm literally laying in bed staring at the ceiling and I can't turn my mind off. And I said, well, listen, the reason is, and you need to understand this, the reason you can't turn your mind off is your mind's job is to process all this information. But much like a computer, if you have too many things going on, in other words, too many windows open or too many programs running, there's not enough RAM for the computer to do all the things that you're trying to do at once. So what it does is it shuts down. It literally freezes up the computer. And I said, your mind is the same way. So what your mind is doing is it's saying, hey, you've got this going on and you've got that going on, and you got people sending you Skypes and all this stuff that's happening. But what's not happening is you're not organizing and prioritizing the information properly, but you're also trying to keep that information in your mind. So I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I experienced this, and so what I did is I created something called the Mind Dump and GPA exercise. Now I'm going to share this with you. It might take you about 5 to 10 minutes to do this, but it can save you 50 years of stress. It's really simple. It's our gift to you as a way to help you begin to get more clear, more focused, get your energy back, and be able to achieve your goals. It's a 3-step process, and I'm going to ask you to turn the video off in one part, but let's go ahead and do step 1. Now, step 1 is to take all this information that's in our head and dump it out onto a piece of paper. That's the mind dump. So if you'll look at your packet, you'll notice that on this page, we've given you the overview. We're going to dump it out onto this piece called the mind dump. Then we're going to organize it. Then we're going to prioritize it. So I'll explain that. But step 1 is to simply use the page called the mind dump. So look right now and you'll see a blank piece of paper. You simply want to take everything that's in your head and dump it out. So for me, for example, my family and I, we're planning a world trip. Well, we also have businesses, we have real estate, we have personal obligations to friends. I have, things that I'm thinking about, like what are we going to do with our vehicles? What are we going to do with our real estate on the East Coast? What are we going to do with our beach house here? Are we going to put things in storage? Are we going to sell some things? I mean, we're planning on being gone for a year. What about our passports? What about our visas? Making sure that financially we have access to our bank accounts around the world, that we've got things that will protect us if something happens with health. So we've got all this stuff for our world trip, but I also have all these things going on with my business, making sure that our bookkeepers and CPAs and our teams know how to work together, that all of our systems are automated so that the majority of the work is simplified. So I could literally lay in bed at night and think of hundreds or thousands of things that I have going on, but that won't allow me to get them done. So step 1 is take everything that's in your mind. Could be as simple as, hey, I forgot to call that friend back. I've got an unmet obligation, whatever it is. Dump all that stuff out you're thinking about, and you can carry this around with you for a whole day if you want and just gather it. But dump everything out into the mind dump paper. That's step 1. So pause the video, dump everything out, get it out of your mind, get it out of the intangible realm, and put it on physical paper. That alone is going to make you feel better. So that's step 1. Go ahead and do that right now, and I'll meet you back here. But don't go to step 2 until you've done step 1. All right, we'll see you in just a second. All right, so did you do it? Did you do step 1? Did you get your mind dump rocking and rolling? If so, hopefully you ended up with a lot of things that have been clogging up your brain on this piece of paper. All right, so step 2 is really simple, but very important. We're going to move into the GPA process. Now, GPA in school stands for your grade point average, but in life, it stands for your goals, projects, and actions. And when you look at all the things you've written down, you may notice that they break into those 3 categories, maybe a 4th category. So what's the difference between a goal, a project, and an action? Well, let's start with actions. Your actions are single items that you can just check off of a list. So for example, return a phone call, That's an action. It's a single thing that I could check off. Or do a mind dump. Now that's more of a project. Why? Because I need to watch the video, I need to print off these papers, I need to do the steps, right? The third piece might be the goal. The goal is the outcome that you're trying to get to. So for example, your goal might be that you're trying to get organized or simplify your life, okay? That's a goal which is going to have a couple of projects and is going to have many actions. So this is just a way for you to determine the difference between goals, projects, and actions. And what I see oftentimes with people that are running businesses or working inside corporations is they're confused and they're overwhelmed because they're focusing on all the actions they have to do. They haven't prioritized it into projects and they have no idea what the real goal is they're trying to accomplish. So step 2 is to simply write a G, a P, or an A next to the words on your mind dump, whether it's a goal, a project, or an action. I'll give you one other example. Our goal is to travel the world. Our projects, which require some research and multiple actions, are things like get our passports and visas taken care of, restructure our financials, make sure that our homes are taken care of. Those are projects. Some of the actions underneath that would be call the U.S. Embassy, okay, or call the Costa Rican Embassy, the U.S. Embassy down in Costa Rica. Make contact with them. That's a single action which is underneath the project of our goal, which is to travel the world. Okay? So take a look at your goals, projects, and actions. Simply put a G, a P, or an A next to it, and that is step 2. One little distinction is you may also have something called a habit. A habit is something that you're trying to install, like exercise daily or exercise weekly. That's a habit. Or drink 8 ounces of water a day, for example. Now you should be drinking a lot more than that, but that's an example of a habit you're trying to put in place. You may see some of those on there also. Okay? So go ahead and press pause in the video again. I'll meet you back here for step 3 in just a moment. All right, welcome back. Did you do it? Did you label goals, projects, and actions? Are you starting to feel better already? I know just for me, getting it out of my head and starting to sort between goals, projects, and actions is a big step, right? That helps me already relieve stress. Now the third step is to prioritize those goals, projects, and actions. And oftentimes what you're going to find is when you begin to prioritize by what's most important, in other words, the things that when you do these, it's going to free you up the most. When you begin to prioritize those things, you may find that some of the things that you had on your list will actually go away. And let me give you an example. I remember one client who, when she started to prioritize her goals, she said, you know what? If I do this one goal, if I accomplish this one goal of earning $10,000 a month, because she was about $7,000 a month, she said, if I earn $10,000 a month, another $3,000 a month, then I can actually use that additional cash to take care of the rest of these goals and these projects and these actions. In other words, she could leverage those resources. So look at your goals, your projects and actions, and ask yourself, is there one or two things that when you accomplish them, by doing that, it will actually erase or quickly eliminate a lot of the other projects or actions. So the good news is that it may not have to do as much work as it looks like in the beginning. All right, so hopefully these 3 steps helped you. It might take you 10 minutes, it might take you a couple hours, but I guarantee it'll save you a lifetime of stress when you understand how to do the mind dump and GPA process. This is Jim Bunch, founder of The Ultimate Game of Life, saying until we connect again, have fun, and remember, it's your choice to create your ultimate life.